Ah, the miracle of life. A time of joy, wonder, and immediate, non-stop danger. Welcome to the glorious world of being a baby shark, where the first rule of survival is simple: don't get eaten by your own siblings. In the womb, yes, before even taking a single breath, this little nightmare is already fighting for its life. You see, sharks don't exactly believe in family bonding. The strongest embryo inside the mother's womb doesn't wait around for a sibling playdate. It just starts eating the competition. That's right. Your very first meal? Your brothers and sisters. And if you're not the biggest, fastest, or hungriest one in there, well, congrats. You just became lunch before even being born. But let's say, by some miracle, this baby shark manages to survive the great womb wars and actually gets born. Fantastic. Freedom. Independence. A chance to explore the open ocean. Oh wait, nope. Still not safe. Because, fun fact, baby sharks don't get daycare, hugs, or bedtime stories. The mother? Yeah, she's done. Gone. Completely uninterested. The second this little guy is born, she takes off, never to be seen again. Parental abandonment level. Expert. Now, floating all alone in the vast, unforgiving ocean, the baby shark is left to figure out literally everything on its own. How to hunt? No lessons. How to avoid predators? Good luck. What's edible and what isn't? Guess and check. Every single thing in the ocean is either trying to eat it, outswim it, or just straight up ignore its existence. And since it was born at barely a foot long, most of the ocean sees it as nothing more than a bite-sized snack with fins. Oh, and let's talk about the menu for a second. Since it has exactly zero hunting experience, its first meals usually consist of whatever it can catch, which is basically tiny fish, and whatever unfortunate sea creature happens to be slower than it. Not exactly the fearsome apex predator lifestyle it was promised. So, to recap, born into a shark-infested battle royale, dumped by its mom, left to fend for itself, and constantly on the run from bigger, scarier creatures. And if it somehow manages to survive all that, congratulations, you've officially earned the right to grow up and make life miserable for the next batch of unfortunate baby sharks. Circle of life? More like circle of suffering. So, against all odds, this little shark has survived its chaotic birth, avoided getting eaten by its own siblings, and has somehow managed not to become an appetizer for something bigger. Amazing. But don't break out the confetti just yet, because now it gets to experience the absolute joy of growing up. First, let's talk about puberty, Shark Edition. In case childhood wasn't awkward enough, now its body starts changing in random, inconvenient ways. Suddenly, it's growing longer, but its fins, still tiny and useless. Its teeth, coming in at the worst angles possible. Ever tried biting into something with a mouth that doesn't even close properly? That's the reality here. And let's not forget the itchy, uncomfortable sensation of growing into a bigger shark while still trying to avoid getting eaten by an even bigger shark. Peak character development. Now, let's talk about its absolutely brilliant survival instincts. You'd think a shark would just know how to be a shark, right? Nope. Hunting is basically a glorified game of trial and error. The first few attempts? Embarrassing. Ever seen a baby shark try to catch a fish? It's like watching a toddler chase a balloon. Pathetic, slow, and guaranteed to fail. It bites at, literally, anything that moves, including floating seaweed, its own tail, and occasionally, a rock. Not exactly apex predator behavior. Meanwhile, the entire ocean is still out to get it. Bigger sharks? Hungry. Groupers? Also hungry. Random sea creatures that have no business being this aggressive? Absolutely bloodthirsty. There's no safe space, no timeouts, no, give me a second to figure this out. If it stops moving, it sinks. If it moves too much, something notices and decides to have a snack. And since it has the combat skills of a wet paper bag, its only defense strategy is to hope it's not the slowest swimmer in the area. And let's not forget the most humiliating part of growing up a complete and utter lack of respect. Other predators get cool training arcs. Lion cubs get mentored by their parents. Eagles learn to hunt with precision. But a baby shark? It just gets bullied by everything with a mouth. Sea turtles, stingrays, even the occasional octopus will take a shot at this struggling, overgrown fish nugget. Imagine surviving the womb wars just to get humiliated by a squid. Truly inspiring. But here's the real kicker. If it actually manages to survive long enough to grow up, it finally gets some power. Bigger size, stronger bite, better speed. Sounds great, right? Wrong. Because now, instead of being chased, it has to chase everything else. Every meal is a sprint. Every hunt a gamble. One mistake. Starvation. So after years of struggling, dodging death, and figuring out how to be a proper shark, it finally gets to enjoy life at the top of the food chain. After surviving a childhood that can only be described as one long unfunny joke, this baby shark has finally made it to adulthood. It's bigger, faster, and actually knows how to catch food now. Amazing. But before breaking out into a victory swim, let's take a moment to acknowledge a simple fact. Nothing actually gets easier. Sure, the days of dodging every predator in the ocean might be over, but now it has a brand new set of problems. First, there's competition, because guess what? It's not the only shark in town. Every meal is a race, and bigger, stronger sharks don't care that this one finally figured out how to hunt. They'll just steal its food like a bunch of underwater playground bullies. And since there's no shark police to report this to, it just has to deal with it. Then there's the absolute joy of shark relationships. Finding a mate? Nightmare. No flirting, no romance, no cute first dates. Just a high-speed chase that usually ends in someone losing a chunk of fin. Because apparently, in the world of sharks, attraction is measured by how aggressively one can bite the other. A truly beautiful love story. And let's not forget, humans. Oh, humans. The mysterious landwalkers, who seem to have nothing better to do than fish, pollute, and occasionally mistake a shark for a surfboard enthusiast. One wrong move, and suddenly this shark is in a net, in a documentary, or on someone's plate. Fantastic. So, to recap, childhood was brutal, growing up was humiliating, and now adulthood is just a never-ending cycle of fighting for food, getting chased for love, and avoiding the world's worst species, humans. The good news, it's finally at the top of the food chain. The bad news? That food chain is full of stress, competition, and constant nonsense. And after all this struggle, all this survival, all this pain, what does a shark do when it finally has kids of its own? Leaves them for dead, just like its mother did. Because in the great tradition of sharks, parenting is just another thing that doesn't exist. And so, the cycle continues. The next generation is born, immediately thrown into the oceanic version of the Hunger Games, and forced to go through the same ridiculous nightmare. Congratulations, shark. You survived. But was it really worth it?